have neither permanent friends nor permanent enemies, just permanent interests. And every human being by nature works toward their best interests. And it is in the interest of every Muslim, it is in the interest of every African American, it is the interest of every American that this nation survives and thrives and grows. And we're supposed to do that. And we are supposed to use every part, every agency in this country to make sure that happens. That we should look over our family and make sure our family is in the best of situation. Last week, I don't know if you heard about it, in Harlem, 6 people were shot at one time. Drive-by shootings, murder. Every year, almost 20,000 Americans murdered. Now, think about this. Since 9/11, how many Americans have been murdered by the hands of Muslim terrorists in this country since 9/11? None. But since in the same time, over 100,000 Americans have been murdered. Now, the Sheikh read about the murder of one person. I don't want to see people murdered. Everywhere you go, every day, in every major city, people are murdered. You want to put an end to it. And they told me that in Durham, this is Durham, right? They said crime is on the increase. Is that correct? Well, what are you going to do about it? What strategies do we have? Can we do something? Let me tell you the nature of the problem. There's a couple of problems. Let me tell you the major nature of the problem. I was listening to a radio program, and in that radio program, there's a sports station, and 2 men were speaking. One of them talked about a pitcher whose mother had died recently. It's pitcher 14. And he pitched the game, and while he was pitching, the people in the audience were laughing and making fun of his mother that recently deceased. Horrible. And so the one said to the other, but do you know why? Do you know why they're doing like that? He said, no. He said, because the people were drunk. And at every stadium, they sell alcohol. And the people, they get drunk. And then the other one said, and guess what? They will never stop selling it because it, the alcohol, makes too much money. Makes too much money. Let's put aside alcohol for a moment. I know no one here drinks alcohol. Let's put that aside for a moment. It's legal. Age 21, legal in this country. Let's talk about illegal drugs for a moment. Let me give you a fact. People spend more money on illegal drugs than they do on food. I want you to digest that for a moment. You see, Imam Qasim, you talk about people starving. I want you to digest that for a moment, that people spend more money on illegal drugs than they do on food. They spend more money on illegal drugs than they do on clothing. They spend more money on illegal drugs than education, than clothing, than health care. So the point of the matter is that they're not going to stop because they make too much money. Somebody's making a lot of money. And in the cities, in the major cities, especially the inner cities, there are people making a lot of money. That's a major problem. And you know what? They're not going to let you stop them from making all of that money. How many saw the movie Malcolm X? Raise your hand. All right. I'm going to start something that Denzel Washington said. Now, I want to stop and say this. Denzel Washington is not Malcolm X. All right? Sometimes you get confused. Denzel Washington played Malcolm X. But that's makeup. It's a costume. It's not real. He's acting. In the same way that Denzel Washington played Malcolm X, there are others who are dressed like Muslims, who look like Muslims, who act like Muslims, just acting. And just digest that for a minute. But I'm going to say something that he said in the movie. I'm going to begin it and I want you to finish it. See if you can do it. You've been had. You've been tricked. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. Ah, there you go. There you go. You've been had. You've been tricked. You've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. Let me give you an ayah from the Quran to think about. I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to try to give a solution because I want us to do something here in this area in North Carolina. And for me, I don't want to just talk about stuff. I want to do something. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم. O mankind, who has deceived you about your Lord? Now, think for a minute. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, ascended to the heavens. And he came back, he was thirsty. And the angel Jibril offered him a drink. He offered him khamra, and he offered him lebanon. He offered him wine, at that time it was permissible, and he offered him milk. And the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, took the milk. And the angel Jibril said, Alhamdulillah, alladhi hadaka fil fitra. La akhadha khamra gawat ummatuka. Praise be to God, praise be to Allah, who guided you to the natural way. And had you taken the wine, your nation would have gone astray. Muhammad chose milk. Think! Hey man, my whole talk is based on what you said. You don't believe this. My talk is based on what you said. You talked about the woman who's pregnant, right? And when that woman comes out of the womb of the mother, does the baby say, yo mom, give me a drink of alcohol? Or does every baby look for milk? Why is it that people spend so much money on alcohol? And why is it that people spend so much money on illegal drugs? We have to solve that problem tonight, inshallah. Let's see if we can solve it.